Hey team, today we are going to be studying anatomy. Yeah! This is every artist's favorite topic, of course. I have been working on character design and my ability to draw characters, and a major part of that is knowing how to draw human anatomy. I am not a huge fan of anatomy, but figuring out how to study it has always been really confusing to me. All the art advice says to practice anatomy, practice drawing full bodies, but how do you actually do that? I tried drawing full body characters over and over, but they always looked horrible. I was never improving and I didn't understand the rules of anatomy. Artists often recommend books about drawing anatomy and to copy from the books, but honestly, I am not reading that. Don't get me wrong, I love reading, but I am not sitting down to read an abnormally large book about muscles and bones. Not only is it awkward to hold, but it is just so boring. I tend to only look at the pictures, and even then I'm wasting my time when I could be practicing. Today I'm going to go over my process of studying anatomy. First, I like to do some stick figure exercises. I always use a reference as that is the best way to learn. And I like to start with the head, but I have seen other artists start with the torso or feet. Just do whatever feels right to you, really. Then I like to draw where the chin is and the line of the basic shape of the body. I only do this for the torso and hips because the limbs get kind of messy. I then draw a box-ish shape for the hips. I learned this trick from Rongon the artist. I think that's how you say his name. He has a lot of how-to videos on TikTok and Instagram. He might also have a YouTube, but I don't watch his YouTube content. Although I don't agree with everything he says, I think he has some good points and examples if you are looking for more videos. Basically, if you draw a box with an upside down triangle, that usually makes up the basic shape of the pelvis. Then you can see that the hips are not straight down, but more flared out, coming out of the side of the bottom of the pelvis. That may sound confusing, but I hope you can see that with the drawings that I'm doing. After I figure out the head and hips, I go for the shoulders. I decided to draw the shoulders as squares for quick sketches, and then I refined them to oval-ish triangles. I think the square helps me see the strength that shoulders have. They tend to be one of the most prominent features of a figure, so I like to show that with shape theory. Next, I draw the arms and legs. For this, I like to focus more on negative space. Negative space is the shape made up of the outline of the character. For example, if a character has their hands on their hips, they make small triangles in the space near their elbows. This isn't as important in these stick figure sketches because you're only drawing the joints and maybe some bone structure, but it really helped me to keep this in mind. I like to do a lot of these sketches to warm up. While I finish these drawings, I would like to remind you that I am still a beginner and I am simply sharing exercises that helped me figure out how to improve. In no way am I trying to act as if I'm a professional. I just wanted to design cool characters, and unfortunately that includes learning anatomy. Funny enough, anatomy was one of my favorite classes in high school. Not to toot my own horn, but I was really good at it, and I considered making it my job if I wasn't going to be an artist. In high school, I was working to become a biochemist because I was pretty good at memorizing. But one day I said no thanks and stopped taking science classes at all to only take art classes. Also, anatomy class is not really anatomy for drawing because you only study the muscles and bones for like 2 units. At least that's what my school did. I decided to quit biochemistry solely based on the fact that I could not work in a lab all day in those awful lab coats. Anyways, back to anatomy, I guess. Once I get more comfortable with the quick sketches, I move on to a way more fun activity. For this one, I start out with the same idea of the stick figure, but then I add all the extra bits. This is when the negative space trick really shines. I like to do outlines around the joints, and I try to be as accurate as possible. Then I color them in using a water-based marker. This really helps because it layers a lot better and it won't bleed through the page like an alcohol-based marker. I use Tombow and they're really cool, but you can use whatever you want. For the next part, I just use a fun multicolored pen because it's more fun that way, of course. I use the pink and I sketch in the features along the guidelines. Basically sketch as you normally would, but it should be easier with the base of the colored figure underneath. While still being able to see the joints and major portions of the figure, you can base the position of literally everything else on that. If you notice any mistakes, this is the perfect time to fix them, and it won't show up as much because it will be the same color as the rest of the sketch. This has really helped me with anatomy, and I think I will continue to use this if I draw from imagination. The next part of this exercise is more based on you. I am working towards a comic book style, so I choose to use a smaller fine liner for the line work. Then I go in with a brush marker for all the shadows. If you're going for more of a cartoony look, you might want to use a bolder marker for the line work. Again, do whatever you feel will help you achieve your goals. Please change this exercise as much as possible to help you learn. I looked at a lot of ways of practicing before deciding on this one, and I still tweak it a bit to make it better for me. We all want to improve, but you need to make sure it is still fun for you or you won't want to continue to practice. In these exercises, I try to be loose and carefree when I draw. I feel this gives the figure a more flowy look and takes away the stiff look I used to get. I tend to like more chaotic sketches than the super clean ones, so I like to make a lot of fun lines that contribute to that look. The line work part of this exercise is also a great time to practice whatever line work you hope to achieve. I used to love a dainty line work that doesn't always connect. I find that this exercise really helps for that because you already have loose guidelines to follow, so it's easier to make loose lines that are cleaner than sketches. The most important part of studying anatomy is to do it over and over again. The more you practice, the more you memorize how the body works. My goal is to be able to draw a figure from imagination without it looking stiff or gross. The only way to do this is to keep learning. I think this exercise is great, not only for learning anatomy, but also for lighting and perspective. This exercise has given me the freedom to explore the human figure in my own way without worrying about how it will look. If I know that the colored figure in the sketch look okay, then I know I can make the line work look great. I hope you learn more and feel more comfortable with practicing anatomy. Human anatomy is a daunting task, but a few simple exercises can get you closer to achieving your goals. In summary, focus on big shapes, negative space, and have fun. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you all again soon.